Welcome, friends. Episode 2 of Let's Talk Marketing with yours truly, Sean M. Smith, otherwise known as SMS, is here. I'm glad you guys are joining me again this week here on the show. This week's show is going to have a very fun topic. Came up in a bunch of the groups that I peruse and that I participate in, not just peruse, but the coverage conversation came up. We talked coverage this week. How do you get it? Is it easy to get? Is every placement the same? And a question about podcast values coming up. This podcast worth talking about. And then there's some questions about when you're stretched too thin. So we're going to wait a couple minutes here, get some friends in with us. Check it out. We got eyeballs number 1, 10 seconds into the call. Hello, everyone. Hello. I hope you're here to say hello and hang out with me on Let's Talk Marketing. So let's see what's going on this week's show. We're going to have a big one. I'm really looking forward to sitting and talking with you guys, answering some good questions, kind of seeing where your heads are at, what your strategies look like for your entertainment projects, for your personal projects, for your businesses, kind of get a feel for what you're up to. What are you doing so far in 2021? What are your plans for 2022 if you're looking a year out? That'd be crazy. But I've already talked to some small business owners that are looking 3 and 5 years out in the future, which is a great way to be projecting business for your company. But you never know what it's going to take to get there. So that's where we're at. Today, if you guys have questions, I want to remind you to go to StreamYard.com StreamYard.com/Facebook. And sign up to give StreamYard permissions to allow you to leave comments this week. Ethan, hey, good question. Let us look together. I don't know the YouTube link, but go to my profile, which is, hold on to the night, hold on to the memory. Wishing I could give you something more. Oh, Richard Marks. I think it's Richard Marks. Yeah, just go to, I'm going to drop it in the comments now. I'll put it in the comments now for you guys. And then I'm going to show it on the screen. I know that's a lot. Actually, no, I'm a Bitly it. I'll Bitly it. Let me take that down. I'll Bitly it for you guys that want to check it out. On YouTube instead, so you can stay up to the moment. Create a link, and we're going to customize the back half and call it YouTube. Probably taken already. YouTube Live. Taken as well. SMS, YouTube. Let's keep just trying. You're just doing naming conventions together. I finally got one. I got one that works. Here's a good link. This is my link. This will be live. And I will push this so you can see it. There. You guys can see that now. So that's where we're at. If you guys want to check the show out this week on YouTube, head over to bit.ly/SMSYT live for all your fun. And leave comments while you're there. It's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of you guys. That's good stuff. You could admit it's pretty funny having to go over there and be like, I can't see myself right now, and I had to pause myself so that I wouldn't keep talking and distract myself further. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Let's get back over to talking about me. So hope everyone's having a really good week so far. I know that we're only 2 days in, but if everyone can hear me, I know that I normally don't encourage it too much, but let's get some numbers in there. Let's get a 1, big 1 in the comments if you can hear me fine. Give me a 1. And if you can't hear me because there's a 10-second delay on YouTube, Well, give me an A. Give me an A. Whoever just gave me a thumbs up, thank you for the thumbs up. Also, if you like this mug, Josh Miller. Hey, Josh, thank you so much for the one. Now I know you can hear me. Microphone sounds good. I sound good. Voice sounds good. We're all rested and ready to go. Okay. So the purpose of this week's show has been kind of ironed out over the last 6 days or so, especially the last 3. I know for sure. I was given a lot of feedback by filmmaker creators, especially some that I was on the phone with on Thursday, that they didn't know the value of some of the actual coverage that they were getting for their projects. What was the value? Why did it matter? Beyond getting into a discussion about brand strategy and overall brand discussion, you just talk from the standpoint of creating kind of momentum for your project, making it so people can actually see and hear you and can discover you and have kind of a general sense of your worth within the space, not just as a filmmaker or an entrepreneur, but also as a hold on one second, I had to move my mic. Not just as a filmmaker and entrepreneur, but also maybe a small business owner. Maybe there's a product there that you're trying to sell that you need people to think, hey, there's a value to this. And we may never have seen this value before. And hey, guys, thanks for coming in again. Got a lot of people checking us out right now. Super appreciative of everyone's time. It's really great. Check out again. Make sure I'm public because I keep forgetting to do that. Yes, public. I got it right this week, so my comments will come in correctly. In case anyone caught that last week, I decided to cataclysmically screw up and make it so only YouTube came in. Anyway, so the idea here was that we're talking about coverage, right? And getting coverage for your brand. So we're going to stick strictly, mostly because what I work in now is entertainment and film. We're going to talk mostly about that. We'll use that. And if anyone has questions about their own product or property or project, as it were, just drop it in the comments. Regardless of where you are, I'll throw you up on screen so that we can kind of get it out there and we can discuss. That's what this is about. This is for all of us. This is our time together. I'm just kind of leading a larger discussion, no different than, let's say, like a communal group where we're sitting and just talking as dudes or dads or grieving widowers or people in a therapy group. The only difference is that I've got a bunch of experience doing this. So what I'd like to see is us talk a little bit real quick about something pretty rad. And that's my new deck. I made this week's deck and it's rad. So let's go to the rad deck and we'll add this to the stream. Boop. Coverage. Well, how does one secure coverage? Now, first, there are 2 models if you're working in film or entertainment that you could be using at any given time. And it's pretty clear cut. You could be going this DIY. You could do this yourself. You could go out there and you could be looking at every single placement yourself. Now, what's a placement? A placement is going to be defined in a second, but you're going to go out and get every single piece of coverage about your brand on its own. So every written piece about it, every review, every news piece, every podcast interview, so on and so forth. You can do that yourself. Or you could work with a distributor that has a marketing arm. I've talked about those in the past and how I feel about them. Some are great. Some are just going by the book. That's up to you to decide. You get what you get when you pay. Or some are also going to, in the same token, you're going to be offered the opportunity to straight up go with someone. I'm one of those someones. I make no qualms about my experience in the field of digital marketing for entertainment. And that's why I'm here offering my help and a word to see if by chance there's something I could offer some insight. When people have a question, I love to answer it and I love to sit and talk. I had 3 calls last week that weren't business related, that were just me talking with 2 filmmakers and 1 person that worked in graphic design because he was trying to get his work out there and didn't know how. So that's just kind of what I do because you can't pay it back. You pay it forward. That's what you do. I can't give it back to my mentor, so pay it forward. That's all I ever do. So we're going to move forward with this deck. I hope you like it today. So coverage. How does one secure coverage? Well, there's a very, Very simple answer. It was taught to me. I was like 27, 28 years old. I was sat down in the conference room at TVT Records, which was the home of Little John and Pitbull, the former home of Nine Inch Nails. And I was said to me, Sean, I'm going to tell you an ancient secret in marketing, and this secret has to stay with you. And I said, that's cool, because a gentleman never kisses and tells. I'm playing. I'm kidding, because it really wasn't that big of a deal. There was no conference room. It was just kind of like I was at the front desk answering phones. This is how I got my start in marketing outside of working on the website. And one day they were like, hey, you run a website and you get PR stuff all day long. So you get PR emails from agencies and from people in the space. You know what a good letter is, right? Do you think you could write one? Because you're a writer. And I'm like, I think if I wrote one, would you tell me if it was good? And that's what we did. And that's how it started. And then I was like, hey, you could make a list of website email addresses. Do you think you could do that? Because we didn't have interns. And that's how the ball got rolling. I was willing to put in all the elbow grease. It's just evading me today. Putting in all the work. I'll put in the work. That's what I did. I put in the work. But getting off Colton here, which, by the way, is also my nephew's name. And this guy is adorable. It makes me want to pinch his little cheeks. Look at the little cheeks. Hey, that guy's probably a scumbag. So digital coverage can be a few different things. I want to make it very clear. It can be a lot of different things as well, too. And if you have other ones that you'd like to add to the mix, say them now. And I will gladly put them up on the screen in the comments section down below right there. This right now is still the link to the YouTube. So if you'd like to go over to YouTube and check that out there, this is our thread or our broadcast for today over there. That way you're closer to real time than the Facebook. Digital coverage, okay? Video, social, audio, or written. Now, it seems pretty clear cut what that means, but I'm going to explain first. As a marketer or a publicist, you're always trying to, from a digital standpoint, hang on one sec. So from a marketing standpoint, you're always trying to get the best quality. Sorry, I got a message that threw me off. Got a best placements for your client. There's always going to be ones that you're trying to cover your bases. You're going to be covering your bases from video. So you're going to be trying getting those trailers out there. See, trailers. You're going to get those out there to the websites that cover trailers. Used to be Trailer Addicts. You can find MSN.com, any of those ones, Apple, any of the ones that cover trailers. You get your encoded video trailer out to those sites to make sure that it's there. That counts as a placement. Let's say you have 8 of those. That would be 8 placements. Pain in the butt, worth doing. Cover the bases. We'll go down to audio. You could be talking podcasts. You could be talking long form audio trailers to sit as snippets, either an advertisement or otherwise. Now, why do I recommend it that way? If you have a longer form podcast interview, that's great. Those are killer, man. Those are awesome. They're great for the star. They're great for the site or the podcast that's working with you. At the same token, they're also really, really good for the movie or the project or whatever it is you're working on. So I wish there's water in here so I could be like a prototypical talk show host. And then last 2 for coverage, written. Those are going to be write-ups. So whether those are written interviews instead of like podcast interviews, these could be phoners. These could also be in-person written up. You need to, take a little teledesk and write it down. And then also reviews themselves of the product. So you could get, reviews of let's say they could write up about the trailer. They could talk about the news. You could send them a news blast instead of a press release about the upcoming release, say Wonder Woman 85. Talk about they hired a new director so that it won't, be as saccharine sweet or something. And, put that news out. Just kind of keep the cycle spinning about it. Because, the idea is it's a really finite window for for any project as a whole, if you're looking to do more, you have to do something, in the future with that brand, you have to do something to sustain that life cycle. And that's kind of what you need to do. So, what was the other one? Reviews, interviews. I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to regret that. Don't usually draw a blank unless it's social. And social seems weird, but this is kind of one of the ones I kind of, I'm not going to say I patented, because I certainly didn't patent it. But at the advent of social media, especially Twitter, what I was known for was I would get a website that would do a piece of written coverage, an interview or a review, movie review type thing. And I would actually get the headline and the link on social, and I would get other sites to retweet that actual piece, and then also link to the actual article from their own site in their daily news blasts, so that there's obviously increased stuff going on as well too. So that's where we're at there. What's everyone thinking so far? Where are our heads at? Guys, give me one if you're still with me. Oh, I want water. I don't want coffee. I want water. So, and if you're just tuning in, guys, I'm Sean Smith. I am president of Ongen. I love the word president. It seems so weird. A digital marketing agency here in Ellicott City, Maryland. And I focus predominantly on entertainment brands. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. Today we're talking about some cool stuff. So going on here. So what's the impact? This is the value. And this is the part that I hope you guys are kind of paying attention for. So what is the overall impact of this Armadillo Stampede? Gave me a 1. It's a 1. Yes. So what is the impact of all of this work? What's the value? Where are we going with all this? Well, wrong way. I'm going to give 6 indicators for success for both websites and then also for social media. And not 6 for social media, though. The idea here is that you want to make sure that you are doing what's best for all of your touch points digitally, all of the digital points of presence. So you want to see as many people as possible coming to your points of presence. And how do we get that? Well, you get that simply, 1, top success tracker, overall website traffic. Good. Looking at your overall website traffic, you get a feel for whether or not this works, because you'll see who exactly is coming through to your site coming off these pieces. Now, when I talked to someone the other day off their piece, they're like, how do we measure the value of something like this, which doesn't have a link necessarily, or may only have one link back to my website? It's like the value of the exposure off that piece is them coming to your website. So coming to your website is valuable because it builds notoriety for your owned domain. It's your own media, but at the same time, you're also taking the time to build and establish your brand. Traffic by source is important, because then you can figure out what exactly is driving that. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from IGN.com? Is it coming from JoeBlow.com? That's not a bad one, right? I just had to think about that. Joe Blow. Yeah, that one's fine, I think. We're going to find out the hard way tomorrow when my wife watches this and punches me in the arm in the morning. Average session duration. What's the amount of time that a person is spending on your website? How much time is a person coming to your site and spending? Are they watching your trailers? Are they consuming your media? Are they taking any downloadables you have at your site? And how long are they taking to do that? Your page views. What pages have they spent? First, page views. How many pages are they visiting at any given time? 2, what are the most visited pages that they're visiting? That they are most visited pages. Which pages are they getting seen the most at any given time? And then lastly, exit rate. Exit rate I pick over bounce rate. So anyone working in digital knows that there is a bounce rate and an exit rate. Bounce rate is an indicative metric. Is indicative of when people come to the site and leave off one page. So if you have a front page, they come into the front page and leave right away, your bounce rate is 100% right off the bat. Your exit rate is if they leave off another page. So if they left off one more page and it goes to 80. I can't do the math right now, but so it's that. Okay. Now, oh, hey, man, I use the same. Went too fast. Cue card guy, you're going to get it, man. You're hitting the button too fast. That guy's going to get it. So for social media, it's easier because people use social so frequently with all of their campaigns. And, oh, my God, it keeps going back up. Especially as a metric, you need to make sure that you are taking care of these things. You need to keep an eye on your impressions. So when you're looking at your overall metrics, you're looking at your metrics and your measured data, you can see where exactly you're indicating you're performing for the month. You see, hey, I got 300,000 impressions this month. Well, that's cool. I got 50,000 reach. Well, that's a really cool thing to know because now you know that it's 6x. That it's the amount of improvement. It's 6x. It's up. Because reach, one person comes to reach of one. Impressions, and he comes to the site 3 times. That's 3. So it's 3 impressions for every one person, 1 to 3. So that's how that works. I mean, I'm sure you already knew that, and because we're all super smart, but that's that. And those are good metrics to have for social. And lastly, engagement, which is super easy. Everyone can say this is a like economy, but likes, shares, clicks, retweets. What else do we have? If you're on social, if you're on YouTube, you can also have other stuff as well too. That's extremely important. So there's those wonderful things: impressions and reach, impressions and the reach, impressions and the reach, impressions and the reach. Okay, I don't have music. I should have like a bongo. Would have bongo would have been cool right then. All right, so for 1 second, we'll just go back to regular metric and we'll just talk. So I know that you guys have been asking me a lot. I did that whole portion for you, and I hope it's helpful. I hope it really takes a bit of the edge off what you've been thinking as far as coverage. The main question is a podcast interview valuable? Yeah, it's also incredibly valuable to have. It's something that you can parlay it into bigger stuff. And the biggest and most important thing you can parlay it into is into bigger relationships and better relationships. If a podcast is small, and I say micro influencers are the most important type of people overall, but if someone's small, they're still worth working with. You need to work with them because they're either going to grow and you can grow with them, or they're just a great hand worth shaking to begin with. But they're always a step to something. That coverage becomes a coverage book. You get a book of just pages of people talking about your film, or small business. You get pages of people talking about your great recipes, or pages of people talking about, your great installations of your flooring. That's just how things work. It's about mass. It's about heft. And you have to do the piece for it. Like, brand awareness is born of familiarity. People have to know who you are, and they're going to be with that 7 to 6 to 8 to 9 touches and views. It's not just about commercials now. They can see your tweets. They can see your website. We can do that. You got to mix that media mix in such a way that things are going to be helpful. And that's kind of where you need to go. So podcasts, even though people have said they're not successful, for them, they're successful. I don't know what you're expecting from them. But if you put in the effort, they're worth doing. They're always worth doing. I've seen great success for even my own projects on them. So let's take a quick water break here. And we'll dive back in. So I want to keep the show shorter than last week. Let's go. So how do you know you're stretched too thin? This is the second topic that has come up in some stuff I've been writing, and people seem to dig it. So how do you know? How do you know when you are stretched too thin? Well, you know yourself. You know your body. Bonus points to anyone who names the movie. But this part is going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. And I really think Ryan would be so proud of me using that 2 weeks in a row. This week, a bit more of a stretch on the GIF, but I actually found this online, and I just kind of want to put it out there because I know that a lot of filmmakers, I know a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs talk a great deal about overwhelm in marketing because it's the neglected piece of their mix overall. They can all focus on, pieces with their sales. They can focus on pieces with their supply chain. They can focus on pieces with their fulfillment. They can talk about pieces with their customer service, but they always end up missing. And that's for small business. That'd be really weird if you were doing customer service for a film, but I digress. What you really need to do is listen. If you're having trouble focusing or completing simple tasks, and this sounds a little bit like depression, I know, but this is what the brain does. This is how the brain acts when it's in a state of chaos. And it doesn't have to be horrible, but it's chaos nonetheless. When you're withdrawing from friends and family, all right, you see yourself doing the withdrawal because you're handling a very heavy load of emotional baggage. When you have a disproportionately big reaction to seemingly insignificant situations, so you're blowing up at stuff unnecessarily, and when you're feeling gross or off without knowing why. I mean, general set of, and this is just unease, is what this is. Unease. You're not comfortable in your own skin, in your own body. These just aren't things that you're feeling real good about. You're overwhelmed. And it's up to you to find the things that help you get centered, the things that help you get back to a place where you feel whole. And hopefully you have good friends and family that can help you stay grounded, that can help you discover a sense of self that's healthy and productive. If you don't, I feel terrible, but I know that there are great communities here within Facebook, or you just reach out to me. I know that's a crazy thing. I'd love to help guide you in a good direction, but momentarily, I know that everyone has their times, and it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. But I want to put it up there. Today alone, you have 100% of your life left from today. Today. So, just worth noting, 100% of your life left. And we're back into it. With words of the week. Look, I got Muppet arms. All right, anyway, let's take ourselves seriously here, people. This week, my son hit the button on random generator and grabbed 3 hard words, and then my wife put them into the deck and said she formatted them differently. So I have seen what they look like. I have not seen them. Let's take a look. Words of the week, where I define a word and apply it to marketing or my own career. Identity. The Oxford or Merriam-Webster definition, or my wife's, the distinguishing character or personality of an individuality. That's cool. I'm going to go with this. I think identity is something you need to cherish as a filmmaker, as a producer, as a entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a musician, that kind of producer as well too. You need to be comfortable stepping out and being you, and being an authentic version of you, and knowing that regardless of what you do, nothing will be Nothing will be bigger than the sum total of who you are. Who you are. Follow. I'll do this on social. To go, proceed, or come after. Follow the guide. To engage in as a calling or way of life, as in follow your dream or pursue. To walk or proceed, follow a path. To be act in accordance, follow directions, or obey, follow his. Okay, I got it. I gave Jane a follow on social media. Jane is a very smart young lady, and I wanted to see what Jane had to offer. I like it. I think that it makes sense. Words of the week, follow. You got to make sure and that you do that. I wish this was the last one to be appropriate. Curriculum. The course is offered on an educational institution. Curriculum. Most of what you learn about film, marketing, music, small business, you will not learn in a curriculum. Most of what you need. It's important to take the courses that are there when you feel that you want them. But it does not make sense for everyone all the time to follow a curriculum strictly. Some people are meant to do it differently. And God bless the people that can sit and open a book. My degree is in psychology. I got lucky. I worked really hard. So, and those are our words of the week. And just like that, we have hit the end of the show. Let me tell you where you can find me if you've enjoyed the show this week. I'm fine-tuning because we're on episode 2. I am Sean M. Smith. You can find me on Facebook at Sean Michael Smith. Now you know my middle name because that woman wouldn't give it up that one weekend. I got locked out one weekend. She took the Sean M. On Twitter, I'm Sean M. Smith. On Instagram, I'm S222. On Twitch, I'm also S222. And I have a podcast with my 7-year-old called Potato Salad Marmalade. Comes out every week. We're just coming back for a season 2 off a several-week hiatus because we needed a break over the holidays because he was getting rammy with toys. But that's it for this week's show, guys. I had a great time as always. Limited questions, everything made sense. I hope you all had fun. See you next week here on Let's Talk Marketing.